You just oh. Okay, hi, my name is Avery. I'm a reader, writer. I'm going to university coming up for creative writing, which I think is kind of cool, and I just like reading a lot. And then I also like talking about my books a lot, and none of my friends read the same books that I read, so here we are today, so I can finally talk to people about books. So, anyway, a brief kind of introduction on how all of this is gonna work in the future. So my reviews will go as this. What? Anyway, this is how my reviews will go. They'll start with a review, which will include the synopsis, the book of my a synopsis, the age group, the genre, what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, and then finally my star rating. Also just a quick little side note, if I probably won't be making these as I read books, because it takes time and I'll be editing, but if you guys want to see, like, if I post any books on my Instagram, which will also be linked down below, and you're like, I want to see about that before she makes a video on it, or I want to get a head start so I can watch the end, I'm gonna try and keep up with my Goodreads account, which... Okay, hi, this is editing me, even though I'm like literally in the same spot I sit in this chair every day. What I'm trying to say here is that I will be making these as I read the books, because obviously I have to keep it fresh in the noggin, but it takes a long time to make, it takes a long time to do, and I'm gonna be running low on time soon. Maybe we'll see how this shakes, but yeah, so while I'm kind of doing the process of making the actual video, I will be able to, oh my god, my hand is so shaky, as I'm like making the video, I have my Goodreads and I'll post the stuff there, so if you just want to like keep up with what books I'm reading and what I'm thinking about it before I make a full-length video on it, that's where to find it. So yep, I'll also link down below, and then you guys can also see if you have any books that you want to recommend to me, just recommend them in the comments or in my Instagram, which will obviously be linked, as I said a zillion times. But yeah, so continuing on with how the video usually goes too, by the end I will just have a book talk, which will be spoilers, but I just need to rant sometimes, and especially about this book, I have a lot to rant about. So yeah, so anyway, if you guys haven't read the book, I would recommend staying in the first half. If you guys have read the book, I'll put a little timestamp of when the next part starts that you guys can sip on over to, or if you want to see my opinions in the book and kind of see if you agree or disagree with them, you can definitely stick around to see this part. That actually really helped me, I'd really appreciate it. But like, if you guys just are here for the review, I understand, you can skip over to the timestamp. So yes, let's just start with the review. So starting with, I mean, obviously this is the book, This I Will Kill You by Chelsea Pitcher. I've already talked about it, but yeah, let's just talk about the synopsis a little bit. So 1 year ago, there was a party. At the party, someone died. Until now, no one has told the truth about what happened. Tonight, the 5 survivors arrive at an isolated mansion expecting to compete in a contest with a $50,000 prize. Nobody questions the odd, rather exclusive invitation until it's too late. 5 arrived, but not all can leave. Will the truth set them free, or will their lies destroy them all? So this genre is YA, crime and mystery, what I write in, so I actually really enjoyed those because it's what I like to write. And it's probably for the age group of like 15 and 16 and older. It's like the older side of YA, not like young, because there are mentions of, it's consensual, but not really, like she doesn't really want it, but sex throughout this book. There's also themes of great violence throughout this entire book. Like, it's a very, very violent book, and just kind of in a disturbing way, you know, I don't know, it's just kind of a disturbing book. So if you guys can't handle that, I would not recommend reading this book. If you are still kind of interested, stick around. But yes, so onto what I liked. First of all, I'm just going to talk about the physical aspect about this book, which actually means a lot to me. I like physical books. Like, I'm very picky with it, and there are books that I can tell you that I do not like because of the physical aspects, but yeah, I really like the size of this book. It's like that, to be like the Amazon book things. It fits in my hand, like I can read it like this, or I can read it like this comfortably. I also like the margin size. I felt like it was good, and it's size 12 times New Roman, which is the ideal text size. Maybe even a little bit smaller is fine, but I really don't like too small text and too big text. I'm gonna be real honest, like sometimes I like will be looking at a book in the bookstore and then I'll put it back on the shelf because I'm like, I don't like this text size. It's just so bad because it could be a really good book, but I just don't like the text size. So yeah, that's just about the physical book. The only thing I don't like is the fact that, and this, I mean, won't be every book, so this doesn't really matter, but like this is so stiff that like the second I open it, like it bends the spine, and I hate when I have the creases in the spine. It's just something about me that I just don't like. So that's something I didn't like about the physical thing, but let's just dive into the content of the book because that's probably what you came here for, and I'm talking way too much about the physical book. So also, if I keep looking down, I have notes, so yep. So I really like third-person passive, especially ever since I've read Harry Potter, and this book is third-person passive, but not through one character. It's through all 5 of the characters, which I thought was really interesting and actually really hard to do, and the author did it wonderfully. Like, she did it so freaking well, and I was really impressed by that. And each of the titles of the chapters are really cool because first of all, you can tell what every character is just because characterization, you know what character it is. And they also receive nicknames at this competition, or what did they call it? This contest competition. And sometimes she uses the nickname, sometimes she doesn't. So I thought that was really interesting, and it's really hard to usually like tell if you have like a ton of different characters. It's like crucial that each character has their own tone, and I think that was a lot harder with third-person passive too, but I think she did a really good job of having that. Also, everything is told show don't tell and through like memories, so like this book is very much like Clue, which I'm gonna talk about probably in the next bullet, but like everything when they did, like they have this scene that's like a whodunit scene, and it's like all backstory, and so like you get the entire story via backstory, which I think is really interesting, and I don't think I've ever read anything quite like it. Like half the story is backstory, which I thought was really interesting, and like it was kind of hard to follow sometimes, but I did think it was really interesting because it wasn't like the character wasn't straight up saying like, oh yeah, like this happened, like they're telling the story, but the story to us is told in backstory, which I thought was really cool, and also kind of realistic too. Not kind of, very realistic, because if you're telling your friends something, you tell them the entire story, but also the author did add like the stuff she should have added, like I can't think of setting, there we go, brain fart. Yeah, also connection to Clue. Okay, so I was talking about it in the last one, I said I'd talk about it this time. But this has such a big allusion to Clue, and I thought that was really cool because I really enjoy Clue. Clue is one of my favorite movies, besides Titanic, but Clue is one of my favorite movies. I love the outfits, I love the characters, I love everything about it. Like, it's my favorite board game, favorite movie. Don't know if it's a book, I'm pretty sure it might be, but like if you want to see like a Clue-like book, read Agatha Christie and stuff like that. But every character is dressed up in Clue characters, so like there's Professor Plum, there's Miss Peacock, Miss Scarlet, Mr. Colonel Mustard, and who am I missing? Mr. Green. There we go. So all of those people, and it fits the characters perfectly in this book too, which I thought was really cool, and I really just enjoyed that it was like Clue, and it made it a lot more fun to read because it was something else that I could connect to, and I just really like that illusion. Also, I think it's really interesting that it's like one night. So like this entire book is one night, which I feel like happens in a lot of books. Like a lot of books that you read, it's like one night in their life. But like this one was just, it was flawlessly just one night, because it didn't feel like one night, you know? It didn't feel like only a few hours because we were going back in time so much, but even when we were back in time, it was only a few hours. So we were only covering like a day in either story. Like not even like, if you combine the two stories, it's one day that we were covering. And I thought that was so cool that like an entire book is on 24 hours, and it was just, I don't know, it was like flawlessly done, and like I thought that was just really good. And yeah, all the characterization and stuff was through backstory, just connecting that back up to the backstory. But I don't know, I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed a lot of the backstory, a lot of the characterization. But now we have to go on to the cons. I can't really talk too in depth about the cons about this book. can't talk too much in depth about the cons of the book because the cons are spoilers, but if I was gonna say it in simple words, it was really confusing at the end. There are a lot of things that I was just kind of confused about, and it wasn't even like trivial things. It was like, who put the characters in this situation, because there are 3 characters who involved with putting the characters in that situation, and I really did not enjoy that. I was confused about that. I think that at the end of a book, everything should make sense. It should be very clear. I also was just so mad at the character, which was a good thing, but like, I'm just so mad that like she didn't get what she deserved, you know, in a really negative way. Like, she should have been negatively impacted and she was positively impacted, so I thought that was just bad, and it just kind of seemed at the end really pushed, and it seemed realistic up until the end, and the end was super, it just felt unrealistic, and the characters felt like they changed a lot, which I didn't really like, and just, I don't know, some of the characters were kind of unclear and stuff like that. So yeah, I just didn't really like the confusion. That was my biggest con, and it is like a bigger con than all of my pros. Like, each pro is like small, but I had a lot of small pros about this book and like a lot of little things that I like. That's not a few really big things, but like this kind of just brought down the entire book, and it didn't make me feel like I won't pick it back up again and reread it, but it did make me like not as satisfied at the ending. Like, I don't know, I've read other books where I've gotten to the end and like everything was clarified and I was just a lot happier, and I just didn't feel happy or satisfied at the end of this book. So yeah, just rate as you want. I rate this a 7 out of 10, just because I did lose track of time, which I think is very, very important for reading a good book. Like, that's how you know it's a good book, is if you lose track of time, if you get kind of sucked into the story. And there are a few points where I was like checking how many pages I had left of the chapter and stuff like that, but I was reading 20 to 40 to 100 pages in a day or in a night because I just had to keep going. So I think that shows that it is a really good story, and it constantly shifting my perspective on characters, which is actually something I as a writer am working on. So it's kind of fun to read that, and I think that really made it fit in with the thriller kind of genre, because I feel like thrillers are always like characters are shifting, characters are moving and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool and I really enjoyed that. I got an emotional response, which is another thing that I think is really important for books. If a book creates an emotional response, that means it's a really good book, especially for that person. So this is what kind of like says if it's a good book for one person, not for another. But personally, I got a really emotional response. There was a scene at the end that really just had my heart clench and just like, oh. And yeah, and again, the reason I just took 3 stars off was because it was confusing at the end, and that just kind of ruined the ending. I feel like the ending is such a crucial part of the book, especially for a thriller, and yeah, it just kind of was not super satisfying. And it was just confusing. I don't like being confused, especially at the end. Like, you should be confused at the beginning, you should be kind of confused in the middle, but like at the end it should make sense, you know? So yeah, anyway, that's it for this segment. If you guys haven't read the book, please just stop here. Go buy the book if you want. If you don't ever think you're gonna read the book, you can move on to the next place and hear me rant about the book for probably another 5-10 minutes, which I will probably have edited down into less time. But yeah, if you got this far, thank you for watching. Make sure to comment book recommendations down below, anything else you want to see, if there are any book reviews you want to see. Go check out my Goodreads, my Instagram. I have a website which you guys can check out soon. And yeah, thank you for watching, and let's just move on to the next segment, which is book talk. So, hello, welcome to people I can spoil the book to and literally rant about for as long as I need. I just want to start this off by saying, Ruby, I need to say, ooh, I like blew back, there's like boat. Anyway, I hate Ruby so much. Like, she was literally, she did not get what she deserved. She should have gone to prison, and I think this is where I was saying, like, if you guys were watching my like review on it and kind of like going along with it, like I said, one of the characters, like all the characters kind of just changed, and I feel like Juniper did not follow her character. Like, she just was not the same person at the end, which would make sense. Like, you go through a traumatic event and you change. But also, I think she would have been level-headed enough to be like, Ruby, that's not okay, and we have to, like, go tell the police, get you checked into, like, a mental hospital or something. Like, do something, because she literally, like, Juniper found out that she killed 2 people. Like, I feel like if I found out one of my friends, even, like, my closest friend, even if I was, like, in love with this friend, had killed 2 people, like, I'd be like, please get away from me. And, like, I would run away. I'd be so scared. And I would call the police. Like, I would get, like, someone murdered. She murdered 2 people. She murdered her father. And, like, her father's a different story. Like, she's getting abused, but, like, she killed her father and she killed Parker, and she killed Parker in cold blood. She was like, yeah, Parker is the reason my boyfriend, the love of my life, is dead, and now it's like he's dead too. Like, girl, calm down. Like, put him in jail, you know? I feel like rotting in jail, well, it's probably not worse than being on fire. Yeah, also talking about fire is one of my biggest fears, and so this book was so uncomfortable for me to read for so long, because I was like, when Parker was just burning alive, I was just like, oh, because God, just being burnt alive. And like, I kept thinking about it. I was like, Shane probably didn't feel what it felt like to be burned alive, because A, it was an explosion, so it probably happened fast. Like, he was probably already dead by the time the car exploded. And B, he was drunk, so even if he could feel anything at the beginning, he probably couldn't, because he was drunk and like, no feelings, you know? And like, I was reading another book, and like, this girl's dad died, and he was so drunk that he didn't feel his death, so he like died on impact, and he just couldn't feel it. They were like, your dad is like, he's so drunk he died. It was a situation I'm not gonna talk about it, because I'm gonna do a book review on it, because I love the book. But anyway, so like, that happened, so I feel like he didn't feel it, and Parker felt everything. Unless he went to like a liquor cabinet and just started chugging. Like, that would have been smart, but I don't think Parker is that smart. So yeah, that was also awful. I also think it's just really like, she's using, like, Brianna's using his money to fly and like get away. It's like $60,000 I'm pretty sure she had. That is not, I was really uncomfortable with that. I was like, that is not right. And I don't know if that's like good about the book that it made me that uncomfortable, but also it's like, this is just feeling like these are such bad people, and I feel like the author was kind of saying, like, trying to make these people look good. And like, I feel like Parker is not better, but like, Parker and Ruby are on the same level of like, not great, because Ruby killed 2 people in cold blood, and well, she killed 1 person in cold blood. She killed their father in self-defense, but you know, and she's just like manipulating. And like, she's had a lot on her, she had a lot of trauma, but like, that doesn't, you can't just kill people because you've had trauma, you know? You go get help, or you kind of see what you can do about the situation to make it better. Like, control what you can't control, you know? Like, get help, Ruby, you know? And Juniper was saying, oh yeah, you're fine, like, whatever. Like, no, like, calm, what? So, I don't know, I thought that was wrong. I didn't really enjoy that, and I didn't like that they used Parker's money, but then again, I also really hated Parker, and I was kind of rooting that he died at the end, but I was hoping it was like the revolver, you know? Like, an easy death. But I really hated Parker. He was gross. Like, he literally came on and didn't, like, ask Ruby, are you okay with this? And, like, didn't take, he wouldn't have taken no for an answer, you know? And she knew that, and that's why she said yes. But I hated that part too. I don't know, I have a lot of problems with this book just because the characters are kind of nasty, and by kind of, I mean really. And like, I feel like the only good characters in this book was Shane and Gavin. Only 2 good characters in this book. That's it. The only 2 good ones. Because also, like, I feel like the parents shouldn't have let their kids just like go to this. Like, her mom was literally peer pressuring her, and I'm like, if the kid feels like something is wrong, I feel like you should go by gut instinct and be like, this is not real. But also, I feel like the parents couldn't have really done anything about it. I don't know. Also, can I just say, whose house was that? Like, throughout the entire book, I was imagining it was like an Airbnb or something, and I was like, did they just decorate and then explode like an Airbnb? Like, whose house? Did they just like find an abandoned house? Like, how did they do? I was just really confused on how they did that. and like who they did that to. Like, someone is homeless now because their house has been set on fire by a bunch of like angsty teens. So I don't know, I kind of thought that was strange, and yeah, I just was not a fan. So that's my feelings about the house. Kind of confused on, you know, why. Also, like, didn't the family notice their kids were gone? Like, how did they find the time to decorate the house with every room? Like, also, it must have been like Parker's entire fund, and then they just like blew it up. Like, bro, that's like not right. Ugh, I don't know. Also, okay, I'm gonna say also so many times, but like Parker's death, this dude literally, like, it hurt my heart when he was like gonna open the patio doors and then the rope was there, and I completely forgot about the rope. I don't know if anyone else forgot about the rope, because I'm like really bad at remembering things, especially in books, because I was like, whoa, so drawn in. But he like opened it, right? And he couldn't because Ruby tied the rope there, and I thought she was just trying to like lock Brianna in, because that's obviously what the author wanted us to think, but no. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I just thought that was like, that was really sad. And it wouldn't have been sad if I just wasn't afraid of being burnt alive. But also it's just like, yeah, Parker's too sissy to like jump. Like, he's jumping through fire, but also he would have jumped into a pool, so I think he would have been fine. But yeah, I don't know. Parker's a little dumb. I didn't like Parker. I didn't like Ruby. I didn't like Juniper at the end. I didn't like Shane at the beginning, but I ended up liking him. And I didn't like Brianna throughout the entire thing. Like, I thought she was just crazy. So that's my view on the characters. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. If we wanted to like dispute my not my facts, but if you guys want to like talk about like your view on the characters, if you like a certain character for some reason, I don't, like, can we please talk about that? Because I have a lot of feelings and I'd love to talk to someone. Please DM me. Because this is such a weird book. I feel like no one has ever read this book besides me, because I've never heard of this before. Also, I feel like I've heard one of us is lying before, but I can't remember. I've heard about that book, but I can't, like, it hasn't come to my head. I've had this book for like 3 months. Yeah. Oh my gosh, one mystery I really liked was their cards. I just remember that because I was like looking through the book and it was like the Ringmaster. I loved that because it was like kind of secret, and I was like trying to figure out who said what, and I think I was like mostly right. I was like, he's definitely in love. I was kind of confused with, was Brett like in love? I was like, oh my god, like everyone's in love with everyone. That's so cute. And like Juniper was in love with Ruby, and Brett was in love with Parker, and Gavin was in love with Juniper, and Ruby was in love with Shane. But I was like, that's dope. I love that. So it was kind of interesting. I wanted to know who ended up with who. But yeah, I also like Brett's character development. Like, none of the characters really developed throughout this night, besides the fact that they completely changed like halfway through the book. But Brett, like, his character development was phenomenal, because like you got to see how his past affected him and how he wanted to grow from it, which I feel like a lot of people don't do. And I just really props to Brett for getting over it, and not getting over it, but like, you know, just kind of like making that little leap. So anyway, that was all my feelings about the book. I just really needed to rant about Ruby because god, I hate her so much, and I think she's such an awful person and brought everyone else's character down. So that's cool, but yeah, I thought that was cool. If you guys have any comments about this, please DM me. Don't comment it because I don't want to spoil it for people who are interested in reading the book. Check out my Goodreads, like I said to the people before. Like, I'm gonna try and update that with books that I maybe don't have time to make videos on, or gonna do it before I make a video, so I A, know what to talk about, and B, can keep people updated, because these are gonna take a while to produce. But yeah, check out my Instagram, check out everything. I hope we can talk about this book a little bit more, because I thought it was pretty good, but I don't know about anyone else. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.